I promised you that I would provide you with a couple of samples of narratives, and so this is a sample of a work narrative that relates to paid employment. So at one point in my work as a social worker, I worked for an occupational social work organization that provided for-profit resources to people as a benefit of their employment. I worked in a call center. So the way that my job worked was I had a telephone with a headset and a computer. Calls came in and I had to look and see where the call was coming from, what line the call was coming in on. And then based on what line it was coming in on, I pretended to be a particular kind of service. So there was me and a whole bunch of other people, but we served more than just one particular kind of organization. So we had to pretend that we were different people depending on what line was ringing. Once we screened to see where people were calling from, then we provided a standardized greeting or a script to people when they called, telling them a bit about the service. And then we collected information from them, and some of the information included things like where they worked, what position they held, if they had an employee number, things like that. Those were questions that we asked. And then we also administered a standardized screening for risk assessment, which included questions about historical experiences of sexual abuse, physical abuse, domestic violence, child abuse, thoughts of suicide, and thoughts of homicide. So all of these things were things that we screened for to find out what a person's history might look like. Then we asked the person what they wanted. And so depending upon what they would be asking us for, we would then code the information that they were giving us. Sometimes they would tell us a story. Sometimes they would give us very specific requests, like that was a one-step activity or action. They might want a piece of information or a referral, for example. And if the person was requesting counseling, then we would find out what kind of counseling they were requesting. We would then take the person's telephone number, we would hang up the phone, we would use a database to match them with a counselor, we would book an appointment for them, we would get in touch with the other counselor would then give us an appointment time, and we would call the person back and give them information about who the counselor was and when the appointment was booked. And then the person would hang up. And once the person had hung up, then we were responsible for doing a note that would record information about what that call was about, and the note would then be sent on to a manager who would monitor the writing of the note and also monitor the service that the person had received. And so that was my job as an intake worker in a call center, working in an occupational social work context.